Welcome to Q News, Dr. Abdulati. Sir, how significant is Egypt's role in sustaining humanitarian aid access to Gaza, especially via Zekim and Karm Abu Salam crossings?
Greetings to you and your dear viewers. Absolutely, there is a great importance to guarantee the delivery of the humanitarian aid in light of the suffering the Palestinian people, as they are the Palestinians live in the first grade of a famine, and the other lives in the fourth grade. About 128 children within the Gaza were killed, among of which 87 from children, and a great number of children are exposed to this. 260 children were killed throughout the last 5 years due to the malnutrition and the shortage of the formula milk. Around 100,000 underage are suffering from such a shortage. Ministry of Health have recorded more than 30,000 of initiation and the shortage, or rather of the malnutrition. That indicated the humanitarian crisis that goes in parallel with the shortage of water, as 90% of the inhabitants of the strips are suffering of the such shortage, as they live in an area of less than 10% of the strip, as they are, or most of the hospitals were stopped due to the shortage of the medical supplies and the medications, along with the enough of fuels, of shortage of fuels. So the collapse of such facilities in light of such a genocidal living part of, or a great portion of them, of the elderly people. There is an importance of a decisive delivery of the aid and to announcing that the Gaza Strip is of a famine zone.
Given the reports of hunger-related deaths, what impact can this recent wave of urgent aid have on preventing famine in Gaza?
Its impact may be very limited, but it's important in light of the deprivations of the millions of the delivery of the aid. And Israel had allowed lately to deliver in a very limited of the truckloads, not more than 30s, are waiting to buy the starved people that they are exposed to killing by is the GHF. So the number of the such truckloads is very important to enhance the humanitarian response. But the Gaza Strip is in dire need of delivery of 500 of trucks to fulfill the minimum of their needs, along with the supervision of the international organization to deliver the aids as an alternative of the killing international organizations such as the GHF. Around 1,200 were killed of civilians and the injuries of more than 7,000. So it is most importantly to guarantee the freedom of the work of the international organization and to allow the delivery of the piled up truckloads, particularly at Rafah crossing. Egypt is very much ready to deliver,
yes,
but the occupation is deprived such a process due to the control by the Israeli forces of the Gaza Strip to prevent or to refrain the delivery of the aid for those are starved from.
Dr. Abdulati, in terms of ceasefire talks, how do Egypt and Qatar's mediation efforts compare to previous negotiation attempts in terms of scope, strategy and results?
Certainly, Egypt and Qatar exerted a very significant effort following the resumption of Israel's aggression by breaching the previous agreement in a bid to compare or to reapproach the truce deal. Israel had returned the Witkoff's agreement by Witkoff and opened a discussion that it was possible to agree upon within only 1 hour. But Israel stalled in reaching such an agreement based on Netanyahu's desire and its time tool by making the war as a goal and the keeping its coalition alive. So approaching such a truce by the holiday of the Qnews, but the development took place within the occupation country and Netanyahu's fear of the collapse of its coalition, along with the withdrawal of her regime from the government due to the Netanyahu that isn't able to fulfill their services and his fear to lose the scene in light of the mediator's desire to halt the collective genocidal war. So Netanyahu wanted to impose on a very, or the realities based on the Palestinian concession and to maintain its occupation in the occupied territories and to maintain the GHF as an alternative of the UNRWA. Such efforts were felt and due to the America's bias as a partner of such a war crime to hold Hamas as accountable. Even all mediators announced that the negotiations are going very well. All the agreements were agreement on. Only 1 point was left, but a change in his course. Instead of going to Qatar, he went to Italy to meet with the Edmirs as Netanyahu's special envoy to the negotiation affair that contributed to disrupt the truce agreement.
Yes, well, sir, why are temporary pauses in ceasefire negotiations considered normal, and how should they be interpreted by the public then and the media?
Yes, we are talking about a 60-day truce. There is a dire need of an urgent humanitarian truce away of Netanyahu's desire and the Palestinian will. There is a very important side of such an effort. Food is the right of civilians, along with the commitments of the Israeli movement under the Article Convention of 155 that disrupting such services along with the 22 months of the genocidal war. So there is a desire to impose the occupation with state force to stop such a war and to move forward of a settlement of a conflict. There is an international an Arab plan adopted by international convention, accepted by the countries of the world as a roadmap to make Gaza and make it an unlivable place as known the Egyptian scheme adopted by Palestine and the whole world. So it is high time to be implemented as a guarantee to save the lives of the Palestinian people in the Gaza Strip and to stop killing more of the civilians.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Dr. Salah Abdelati from Cairo, the chairman of the board of directors of the International Commission to Support Palestinian Rights. Dr. Abdelati, thank you very much for joining us here on Q News.